I have a few people who aren't able to attend tonight, so I'm gonna go ahead and record it. We'll try to keep it to a minimum as far as being too racy or too crazy. So I just want to thank you all for coming tonight. As you could tell, I'm not 100%, so this worked out a little bit better for me. But I didn't want you guys out in the cold and in the ice. So I really appreciate you guys being here. So the first thing I'd like to do is, not everybody knows everybody. Some people are new. Some people haven't met everybody. So I just kind of want to take a minute to introduce everybody, to introduce themselves. Tell me like who you are, what unit you're with, how long you've been in scouting, and something interesting about yourself. So I'll go first. I'm Christy Hust. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the council commissioner for South Plains Council. I am actually restarting with a grandchild. I am in PAC 574 this go round. I have an eagle son and a silver daughter who should have earned her eagle, but you know, she came about 5 years too early for that good stuff. And so I've been doing this for a really long time. So and I'm going to go across my screen. So I'm going to let Robert, you go next.
Okay. Robert Cosier. I'm currently multiple hats. I'm the Scoutmaster for the 575 Girls Troop. I'm a unit commissioner and for the Chaparral District. Working on, I'm also the outdoor training activities or outdoor training lead. I forget the name of it. And any stuff and things that needs to be done. So.
All right, Kaylin.
Okay, I'm Kaylin Furman. I'm with Troop 406. I'm the committee chair there. I am the roundtable commissioner for Scouts BSA. I am the lion leader for PAC 574 and something fun. Oh, my son is a senior, and so I've been in Scouts since he was a first grade, what 12 years, and or almost 12 years, and he's an Eagle Scout. So
Fabulous. Barbie Taylor.
My name is Barbie Taylor. I am the Chaparral District Chairman. I'm also an Assistant Council Commissioner for Roundtable, and I'm a committee member for both Troop 575 and PAC 574. I have an Eagle Scout son and also a Live Scout, both from Troop 575.
All right, Mike O. So there's two mics now. Mike O.
You hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, my name is Mike Osornio, and my relationship with the Scouts really is just joined the board in 2020. I was asked by a friend of mine to join, and I agreed to. And so I've been on the board for, again, since 2020. And here recently, I had a meeting with Nathan, and he asked me if I would help lead the diversity, equity, and inclusion portion for the Scouts.
Nice. Well, welcome to the group.
Thank you.
Todd.
Unmute. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Is this working? Okay. My name is Todd Wyrick. I'm with Troop 536 over at Westminster Pres, and have two boys in that troop. Parker's a star and the senior patrol leader, and then Peyton is a tenderfoot. And what else? Something interesting. I played cello in the marching band in high school.
Cello?
So,
is that what you said?
yeah, that's my interesting thing. Yeah.
I would not have known that. All right, Molly.
Hard to march with a cello.
That's what I'm thinking too, right?
It is. Yeah.
I like video footage of the marching cello. I'm Molly Dickens. I'm the committee chair for Troop 575 Girls and Boy Troops. I've had that position for a couple of years. We've been in the troop for 3 or 4 years. My son is a first class scout, almost Star Scout. And I teach engineering at Texas Tech. It's kind of interesting. So.
Mike May.
I'm Mike May. I've been involved in scouting for 13 years with my son, and he's a Eagle Scout in 2018. And I'm also an assistant council commissioner and troop committee chair with 174, which is a special needs troop. We have a boys and girls troop. And then I'm on the troop committee for 515 out of Shallow Water.
All right, Alan.
Hey everyone, Alan Taylor. I'm an assistant scoutmaster for Troop 575, assistant cub master for Pack 574. I'm a unit commissioner for a couple of units here and also the council's climbing director. And a little bit like Robert, I just put on whatever hat they kind of hand me. So, and my interesting fact is I am married to Barbie Taylor. Life does not get any more interesting than that.
I think she could say the same thing. All right, Katie, I think everybody knows you, but go ahead and tell us who you are.
Hey, I'm Katie Hand. I'm the senior district executive. I don't really have very many interesting facts, and I was kind of caught off guard, so I don't have anything. Sorry.
There's lots of interesting things about you.
No, not really.
That's not true.
Well, thank you.
All right, Austin.
Hi, I'm Austin. I'm new here. Don't actually have any. Sorry, it looks like I'm looking off to the side. I have all your faces over here. No, I'm Austin Moore. I'm the council camping chairman currently. A recently retired lodge advisor. Having to work that hat out of my stack. Things that I discussed, but an interesting fact. I played the trumpet in a marching band.
Much easier to carry.
Indeed, indeed.
All right, Nathan.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nathan Bai. I'm the Scout Executive. I'm starting 28 years in professional scouting and a long time before that as a youth in the program. And I guess I'll carry on the theme, so to speak. My interesting fact is that my wife and I are both marching band geeks and met at the University of Missouri in marching band, and we've been together for 25 years.
That explains a lot. A lot. Jeremy.
I'm Jeremy Barbie. I'm a committee member, I think, for Troop 505, Cub Master for the Pack 127 in Sladen. Been with scouting for 6 years now, just realized that. Interesting fact is I'm a pilot. So we're actually doing a fly-in breakfast fundraiser for our Cub Scout pack in March.
Fun.
Wow, cool.
So, yeah.
Okay, everybody make note of what he just said, that he's a pilot. Okay. All right.
Aviation merit badge counselor.
There you go. Right. Right.
Oh, yeah, my oldest, I've already told him, I said, okay, we can do the aviation merit badge. Like, I can do that for you. I have all the requirements.
You're right. Right. All right, Randall.
All right. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Randall Hust. I am a, she's making a face, so I guess not. I'm a unit commissioner and associate lodge advisor. Interesting facts is I have helped over 1,000 students build 8 Habitat for Humanity houses.
Okay, so what he said was he helped 1,000 students build over 8 Habitat houses. For those of you that can understand.
Y'all can get into that.
And he just recently won an award.
Yes, he did. He just won an award for his service in the community for his teaching. So for the state. So that was very, very nice. Aaron.
My name is Aaron Eldridge. I am the Scoutmaster for Troop 593, committee chairman for Pack 523, And I just took over for Austin as the lodge advisor for Nocona Lodge. I have 2 boys in Scouts. I earned my Eagle. They're on their way to earning theirs. And I'm king of the nerds in Lubbock.
All right, I'm going to try this one. Is it Sharel?
It's Cheryl.
It is Cheryl. I was like,
Yeah.
it's either Sharel or Cheryl, and I'm not really sure which one.
I answer to either one because I've heard both. So, Cheryl, event coordinator and committee member for Troop 406. Been involved for 10 years, and my son is a Life Scout serving as SPL right now.
All right, Brandon. Oh no, everybody froze. What the hell? I'm still connected. Why is it so? Thank you, Barbie.
And she's back.
Sorry about that, guys. Sorry. All right. So as you all know, you're here for Citizenship and Society Merit Badge Counselor Training. And there's been a lot of talk about this merit badge. There's been a lot of angst about this merit badge. And I'm just here to tell you that this merit badge is nowhere near what the big scary thing that everybody thinks it is. I've read everything about it. It's a great merit badge. It's going to do great things for our youth. And so I just want us to think about, so when we talked about starting this, we wanted to start it on the right foot because we know there is a lot of concern out there. And so we wanted to get together with all the people that we felt would make great counselors and mentors. Because the other side to this one is once we're done, what I'm going to ask each one of you to do is to actually start training your replacement. I'm wanting you to find that person who's going to fit this merit badge well, just like you do, and then help them understand how to do this merit badge in a safe, comfortable way. And that's the goal, is that we provide a safe environment for some really hard conversations to occur. So in order to do that, I'm going to do a couple of different things. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Let me check all the buttons. All right, can you all see the PowerPoint? Y'all went away from me, so.
Christy?
Yeah, we'll give her another minute to come back.
Oh man, I died again. I'm connected. I mean, I don't know what else to do. Can y'all hear me? All right, we're gonna just keep going. So sorry. Oh, we're gonna try this again, and if I go away, I may cry. Y'all just need to know I may cry. Don't judge if I cry. It's been a really long day. So the first thing I want you guys to see is, can y'all still see me? Did I die again?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So obviously this may not work the way we want it to. I'm just going to see if I can put the PowerPoint up. Can you see the PowerPoint? Alrighty. Well, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to talk you through the merit badge without the video, without the PowerPoint, without all the great stuff. And so,
Christy,
huh?
Email me the PowerPoint and I can share it.
Yeah, or email it to everyone.
Yeah.
I will email it to everyone. Let me forward it to Barbie. And then, of course, you don't show up on this one. Barbie S. Taylor, right? At Gmail?
Yep. MSN.
Oh, MSN. Okay, hang on. I got the wrong one. You gotta love technology until it doesn't work. This is why I should have made our technology guy do this. Oh, Robert.
Huh? What? Who?
And y'all are all frozen again. Well, Austin, you're still moving. So, and there you went.
We can hear you.
Okay, good. Did you get the PowerPoint?
Not yet.
Okay, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the merit badge. We're going to talk about how everything looks and how it's supposed to work. I'll send you the PowerPoint. I'll send you a couple of things. I'm going to send you the PowerPoint. There's a video, a Vimeo video that's really great from the BSA. I'm going to send you the handout for the youth and then some counselor guides in there. And so we're going to talk kind of a little bit about that. So the first thing that the BSA did was they put out a DEI vision and mission statement, okay? And really, everybody's asking why did we need this badge? Why did we need this badge? And I was kind of curious too, because in my interactions with our youth today, they probably have some of the most diverse groups of people around them.
Frozen again.
I'm frozen again?
Kill your video.
No, we can hear you.
See, you interrupted me.
Oh, well, I'm so sorry.
All right, how about that? Is that a little bit better? Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so a lot of people kept asking, why did we do this? What's the deal? And like I said, the youth really do have a really good group around them. They're very diverse. But what we're seeing is that we need to teach them not only diversity, but inclusion and equity. And we need to help them figure out how to take those terms and move it into their leadership roles. And that's kind of the goal of this merit badge. So the BSA's vision statement for DEI is to partner with all families and communities in raising young people of high moral character, development of their leadership skills, and preparing them to serve and thrive in a world of increasing complexity and challenge. That's a long one, right? That's a big vision. The mission statement is the Boy Scouts of America promotes a culture where every youth, volunteer, and employee feels a sense of belonging and builds communities where every person feels respected and valued. Leading by example and encouraging each other to live by the values expressed by the Scout Oath and the Scout Law, we welcome families of all backgrounds to help prepare young people to serve as successful members and leaders of our nation, our nation's increasingly diverse communities. So the goal for the BSA is to really take that DEI vision and move it into action, move it into their leadership. What does that look like? What does that mean? And how do you do that as a youth? And that's why they created this badge. There's been a lot of scuttle about they did it because they want to press this agenda. They want to press this agenda on my kids. That's not what this merit badge is about. And I know that scares people, but really, it is really about us looking at our kids and going, we're a global community. I remember when I was a kid, I never even thought about going to Washington, D.C., much less Italy. But I've been to both now. But I grew up in Podunk, Lubbock, and I didn't know anything outside of Podunk, Lubbock. well, except for a little bitty town called Morton. And so we're very much a very multicultural community, and we want to embrace that, and we want our kids to learn to lead in that, and that's why they created this. So let's talk about what the goals are. The goals are to learn about diverse, unique identities and characteristics we each possess, understand different perspectives and experiences, respect the beliefs of others, both within and within and outside scouting. Sorry, guys. Identify actions that help create an inclusive and welcoming culture of belonging. It's not just knowing DEI, it's knowing who you are, valuing who you are, and valuing everyone around you. And so that when we have that within our youth, society is just going to have a better feel about it, right? So that's kind of the goal of that. And that's really what their goals are for this merit badge. So where do you begin? First things first, you want to make sure you understand the requirements that the scouts are going to be asked to complete. And we're going to talk about those tonight. And then you want to read the counselor's guidelines, which I will be sending to you. And if you haven't already done so, they would like for you guys to take the DEI volunteer training on my.scouting. It's training.scouting.org.course. It's all a big thing. There's a link. I will send it to you. There's a big thing, but that video is really well done. And I really, really did enjoy it because again, it's more along the lines of teaching our youth to value themselves and to value each other. And that's really what, I mean, if you think about our scouting program, that is what our scouting program is supposed to be about, right? So remember that your job is to elicit thinking, learning, conversations, and sharing. We're not meant to be the experts in this. That's not our goal. You know, when we talked about the aviation merit badge, right? Jeremy's the expert in that merit badge. I wouldn't try to answer anything there because I don't know anything. But here, what we want is we're really facilitating a conversation. We're really facilitating the youth's opportunity to learn about themselves, about their scout units, their culture, their community, and the world, and to see how they're going to take all that information that they learned and then transition that into leadership and how they can become better leaders, okay? So they have a couple of suggestions here. One is to host a meeting to share key information because so many parents are very, very leery of this merit badge. One of the things they do suggest is, you know, invite the parents, the scouts and the parents, and have them come in and talk about what this merit badge has, what are the things that are required in the merit badge, and how you guys want to go about completing the merit badge, because it's unique, right? There's no merit badge pamphlet for this one. And there's a reason for that. This is all guided self-discovery, basically. It's research by the scout to allow them to figure out what it is they want to talk about. You want to go over those requirements with both of them and make sure that both of you are comfortable with that environment. The next thing they say is there's two approaches. Hang on just a second. There are two ways to do this. Now, one of the things BSA does ask is that we not do this at summer camp and we not do this at not Commissioner's College. Sorry, I've got Commissioner College on my mind. Merit Badge University or Merit Badge College. It's not meant for a large group setting, okay? It's just not meant for that. It's meant for a smaller, unique group of young people to be together if you're going to do it as a group, or to be done individually. And the thing they stress is that each scout is going to have a very different experience with this merit badge. When we do other merit badges, you know, I did personal fitness. Everybody had to do 50 sit-ups. Everybody had to do the pull-ups. You know, you had certain metrics that you had to meet. This one is a little bit different. This one is going to be individualized. And the other side of it is it's going to be customized to the scout and for the parents so that they are both comfortable with the topics that are going to be taught or to discussed. Okay. They're going to be talking to you, the counselor. They're going to be talking to other youth. There isn't a component of that. And then they're going to be talking to members of society. So the parents and the youth all have to understand that going into it is it's not just sitting on your computer looking up a bunch of stuff. There's a lot of conversations that happen in the middle of all of this. They give you two options. Option one is to do an individual study. Of course, you know, if you do an individual merit badge, you must follow YPT and have 2 adults there. If you do it via Zoom, you still must have 2 adults with you in the Zoom setting. You need to have 2 adults. Or you could do a small group study, 3 to 5 scouts, but their suggestion is within 2 years of age. So don't put an 11-year-old and an 18-year-old together. Okay, their experiences, their understanding of the world are very different. And so you just want to make sure that you understand that these groups of scouts need to be within 2 years of each other. It just, they're usually more developmentally close when there's that smaller age gap. Okay. So you want, now we'll say this, if you guys have questions, I won't slow down. Anybody who knows me is not going to know that I'm not going to slow down. I'm just going to keep going. So if y'all have questions, y'all just yell out because I get in my zone and I forget. So,
Chrissy, I got a couple real quick.
Okay.
I'm going to assume assuming all of us agree to do this, we'll need to go into the office and fill out all the appropriate paperwork to become an actual counselor for this.
Correct.
Okay. And then I guess with that recommendation, I guess you would say maybe do this not even at the troop level, you would do it more at the patrol level if you were gonna do it that way with a group of scouts.
Yes, I would not do it at a troop level because that is a really large age gap. And so I probably would not do that. Is that what you're asking me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, yes, correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So but if you had a patrol of 6 to 8 scouts that were all within 1 or 2 years of each other, you think that group might still be too big? Or
no, I think I think as long as that group has my caution would be as long as that group has good dynamics, right? You got 3 kids who hate 3 kids, that's not a good group to go into.
Right.
And so for me, what I would tell you is I would leave that up to you because you know your patrols better than I do. So I can't say yes or no. I'm going to say, I'm going to leave that to you to make that decision.
Sounds good.
And Christy, just to go off of something that Robert said there, is there a recommended age group for this? Like you said, there's a pretty big difference in a group of 11-year-olds having this kind of conversation and a group of 17-year-olds having this kind of conversation. I wouldn't imagine they really preclude anybody, but is there a recommendation?
No, they actually recommend it from 11 to 18.
Okay.
They're just asking that if you're going to do it as a group, that you keep your group within that 2-year age frame of each other.
For sure.
Barbie, did you ever get it? Okay. I'm like, I tried, Barbie. I really did. I really did try.
Hey, when did this become required? This is an Eagle required badge, correct?
It is, and we're going to get to that. It is going to, it is required. It will be required July 1st. So right now, anybody that's finishing up their Eagle will not have to have this. And we'll go through that in just a minute. All right. So options, again, Zoom, in person, as long as you're following that. A lot of people ask, how long will this take? And that really does depend. I think one of the things that's really good to do, the one I like is having that initial meeting, going over what the requirements are with the scout and making sure they understand and that their parents understand what you're asking of them, letting them go off for a month, do all of their research, their interviews, everything that they need to do, and then come back after that month and have some discussion times. And it may be too much to have one time where you discuss all of this, because there are a lot of components to this merit badge, but you can break that up over a couple of meetings, or you could do it over a month. You can say, okay, this week you're going to do 1, 2, and 3 or whatever. And you could do it that way. And it does really work. The thing that they really wanted us to stress to you guys is establishing the ground rules on safety, privacy, and respect. I think one of the reasons they're also doing this merit badge is that we're still seeing a tremendous amount of bullying. And unlike when I was a kid, bullying, I went home. They didn't follow me home, right? But now they are online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's just no option that it follows them. And so this is really to also combat some of that bullying that we're seeing in this culture that's occurring. And so you want to set those ground rules that this is a safe environment. We value everyone's opinions. We're going to let everyone speak. We're going to treat everyone with respect. We shouldn't have to say these things, but we do. And so we want to set those ground rules to make sure that everybody feels comfortable if we're doing a group setting. All right. So you want to make sure you're doing that. You also want to do the do's and don'ts. Do share, do be on time, do be prepared. Don't be distracted. Don't be on your phone. Don't be talking to each other while someone else is talking, and don't judge. You don't know what someone else has been through, so don't judge.
Christy?
Yeah.
Can you give me permission to share?
No.
Please.
Come on now. How about I make you a co-host?
Sure.
Since you're saving me anyway.
Can you guys see the screen for the ground rules?
Fabulous Barbie Taylor is my hero. Yeah. All right, so if you'll go to the next slide, we're going to review the requirements, unless you guys have any other questions about the setup of this merit badge. Man, I like not having my camera on. Y'all can't see if I'm my nose. All right, so let's talk about reviewing the requirements. Let's set the stage. So remember that the aim is the development of character, leadership development, citizenship training, and personal fitness. It is to educate, inform the scouts to think about how to make everyone feel welcome and comfortable. And so that all can take advantage of the benefits of scouting. You guys think about a time when maybe you went into a group and you weren't feeling so comfortable, right? You were just excited to go back, weren't y'all? I wasn't. Right? Okay. How about this one? For those of you that are cubbies, that were cubbies at one time, when you walked into that big old room of brown, right? And no one talked to you, you felt really welcomed in your new pack, right? Probably not, because we didn't either. And it's not that we're not trying to not be welcoming. It's just that we don't necessarily think about it, or maybe we get into our rhythm and we don't think about how we're making other people feel. And the youth are the same way. Our senior patrol leader, they have a job to do and they're going to do it. The patrol leaders have a job to do and they're going to do it. The new scouts, they have a job to do. It's to make everyone else crazy and they're going to do it, right? That's how it works. And so it's really, this is really made to help the scouts understand the relevance of helping everyone feel better, feel welcome, feel heard and listened to, and how that relates to making everyone in the world, not just in their scout unit, feel valued. And that's really what they're trying to get with this merit badge. If you'll go to the next slide. All right, so requirement 1 is all the DEI terms, okay? DEI terms and ethical decisions. So they're going to go out and research the meanings to the following words. Identities. What are some of the different identities? It's not limited to race, ethnicity, gender, age, financial background, mental or physical health, abilities, religious or ethical value systems, national origin, language group. You know, there's a bunch of different ways of saying identities, okay? I have a lot of identities. I am Trevor's mom. I am Randy's wife. I am Oliver's grandma. I'm also a former course director for Woodbatch. So see, I have a lot of different identities, right? So they're going to define that. They're going to define diversity. And that diversity is just really having that incredible range of individual identities, knowing that everybody sitting around the table is diverse, meaning that you have different viewpoints, you have different thoughts, you have different ideas, and that's great because you're going to get more out of it when you have more people sitting around that table. Equality is the state of being equal, especially in the status of rights and opportunities. Everyone gets the same thing and is treated the same. And that sounds great, except that we don't all start at the same place, right? Some people start further back, some people start farther forward, which is where equity comes in. And that what that means is helping individuals with the resources they need to ensure their ability to access the same opportunities as everyone else. And I know that little box down there, you can't see it very well, but that is a really great infographic. I have one and I'll send that to you as well. But what you'll see is equalities on the top. They all got the same size box, all right? But they're not all the same. They're not all the same height. For equity, they all got different size boxes, but they are now on an even playing field. Does that make sense? To me, I look at it as all of their heads are at the same level. You'll see it a lot too when you see it with the baseball field, right? And everybody's sitting looking through the fence at the baseball field. That's what you'll see a lot of when you see this infographic. All right, the next slide, Barbie. They're going to learn about inclusion, what it means to be included in a group, what it means to not be included in a group. And when you truly have inclusion, you have authentic participation and genuine sense of belonging. I think sometimes we think we're including people, but they don't feel comfortable to share. Then we're really not doing inclusion properly. If they're not willing to share, then we're missing the mark. They're going to talk about discrimination. We all know what discrimination is, that unjustified distinction between human beings based on different things, right? They're going to talk about ethical, meaning the moral principles or branch of knowledge dealing with the terms of be fair and just. What does it mean to be ethical? They're going to have to figure that out. And then they're going to define leadership for you. And then they're going to define ethical leadership. I think that's going to be a new one for some of them because we tell them ethics, we teach them leadership, but we don't often put the two together. And they're very important when you put them together. That means that you're leading to ensure that everyone in the group has everything that they need, right? We're being inclusive, we're being diverse. We are valuing everyone. And then they're going to define upstander, which was a new word for me. And that is any person who does the right thing at the right time. Whether you know someone is watching or not, you're doing the right thing. So if someone's being bullied, you're the one that says stop, right? If you see something that's not appropriate, you're the one who goes and finds a scout leader and says, this is not working. So an upstander is what we're challenging the youth to be. Any questions about requirement 1? All right, we'll go to requirement 2, I believe, I hope anyway. So requirement 2 is to discuss with your counselor what leadership means to you and what you think it means to make ethical decisions. You're gonna ask them to share an individual you feel that has demonstrated positive leadership while having to make an ethical decision. It could be history, it could be a family member, it could be a teacher, coach, whatever. And you're gonna say, they're gonna tell you why they picked that person, why they showed leadership, and how they had to make that ethical decision. The one that really stands out to me here is gonna be like Rosa Parks, right? That's one of the perfect examples of a leader. She made an ethical decision that she was not going to do what she was told. And because she did, she changed the world around her and forever, right? And so the example they give is you're in charge of helping or organizing a troop caving outing that most of your unit is very excited about. But there's a scout in your patrol who you know is claustrophobic and would be very uncomfortable going on this trip. What would you do? Would you say anything? Because you're excited as a youth, you're excited to go caving, right? But ethically, is it fair to plan a trip that you know someone isn't going to enjoy or is going to put them into a traumatic situation? So those are kind of the things they're looking at when you're looking at requirement number 2, okay? What is leadership? What is ethical decisions, and how do they go together? And give us an example of someone that you see has done that. All right, next slide. Consider ethical decision-making. You're gonna ask them to think about a time they had to make an ethical decision. Ask them about it. How did it make you feel? What did you do? What was the situation? Would you have done anything differently now that maybe you're 6 months older? Would you have done anything different? Maybe not. Maybe you would have. And then find 3 examples of ethical decisions you might have to make at school, at home, in the workplace, or in the community. So we want them to expand outside of the scouting movement. It's not just about leadership within our scout units, which is what we're training them for, but it's really to graduate them up and out and into the world. And then helping them understand that the skills that they're learning right now, they're going to use in the real world when they get out of scouts. And so that's what this ethical decision question is about. All right. Next slide. Requirement 4 asks them to repeat the scout oath and the scout law for your counselor, and then choose 2 of the following scenarios and discuss with your counselor what you as a scout could do to demonstrate leadership and what it means to help others who seem different than you. I think this is where everybody gets a little antsy because they think there's going to be some really crazy scenario. They're not crazy. While at camp, a youth accidentally spills food on another camper. The camper who gets spilled on gets angry and says something that's offensive to people with disabilities. Their friends laugh. What could or should you do? That's a great scenario, right? Your friend confides in you that some students in school are making insulting comments about one of their identities and that those same students created a fake social media account to impersonate your friend online and post messages. What could or should you do? A new student in your class has moved from another country or has a parent who immigrated from another country, and your friends are making rude comments to the student, making fun of their speech or clothes, and tells the student to go back home where you came from. What could or should you do? Those are pretty, I don't want to say they're pretty benign, but they are, in the grand scheme of things, I think those are pretty real world activities that we see happen occasionally, unfortunately. And I think those are really 3 great scenarios that they've chosen for our youth to discuss after they've repeated the scout oath and the scout law so that they understand where all of that fits together. All right, next slide, Barbie. These are just some examples of what you can do. You can ask them to act it out. What would you do? How would you handle that situation? Where would you go? What would you say? And talk to them about how they could be an upstander in that situation. So next slide. So requirement number 5 is creating a welcoming environment. And it challenges them to think about what they can do personally to create a welcoming environment in your Scout unit. And then it asks them, when you went out of your way, think of a time when you went out of your way to include another Scout. And what did you do to make them feel included and welcome? And then think about the things you can do to help ensure all Scouts in your unit are given an opportunity to be heard. It's like, how do we make people feel welcome, but not only welcome, but included, right? Inclusion. How do we make them feel comfortable with being able to speak up and say, no, I don't want to go caving because it scares the crap out of me. You don't want them to say it like that, but you want them to feel comfortable enough to say that, I'm not comfortable with this activity. Can we pick something else? Okay. So they're challenging them to think about, what is your role in your Scout unit? Because oftentimes Scouts don't think about that. They just are there and they don't think about their role as being part of the welcoming committee to not only the parents, but the new Scout as well. And so that, I think that's a really interesting component of it, is they're saying, how do we make it more welcoming and inclusive to our new Scouts? All right, next slide. Requirement 6 is exploring identities. This is where we need to get the parents' approval. And so what we're going to do is we're going to ask the parents, with the parents' guardian or approval, connect with another Scout or youth your own age who has an identity that's different from yours. This means a trait, a belief, a character that's different from you. And a lot of people automatically jump to, you're asking my kid to go find somebody totally different, something I don't believe in. No, that's not what we're asking. I was raised a Baptist. To me, somebody with a different identity, and I was to tell you, in our unit, in our troop, we had a Hindu. I had no idea anything about his culture, about his religion. That's who I would pick, because that is a very different identity than what I have. So, help your parents and your youth think outside the box. It could be as simple as, I'm Baptist, you're Catholic, we're different, but let's see how we're not. Okay. And so they want to pick a youth. They want to talk about what makes your identity meaningful to you and special to each of you. And then share a time that you each felt excluded. And then give them the imaginary situation of, they're at a new school. You notice that they dress differently. You try to sit with a couple of different groups, but they all tell you, no, you can't sit here. How would that make you feel? What could you have done? What would you have done if you were the student watching that happen? What are those things like that? And then they're going to come back and discuss that with you about the experience they had discussing it with a fellow youth. Does that make sense to everybody? All right. Just tell your parents that, they get to pick who their youth is going to interact with, but don't let them, I don't want to say cop out, but challenge them to find someone that is different than they are. Okay. It's okay to find someone that's totally different than you and to learn something new about them. It's okay. But if you're not comfortable, and I'm just going to put this out there, if you're not comfortable with if the parents aren't comfortable and they think, they're saying, I'm not going to go find some transgender kid for my kid to talk to, that's okay. Find somebody that's different than you. And you know what? The world is made up of a whole lot of different people. And you just need to find someone who's different than your youth and have them have a conversation. Okay. So assure your parents that we're not trying to push anything on them. It's just really about them finding, looking at a new identity, finding what's special about their identity, but also recognizing that everybody else around them also is special and unique, and we should be valuing that. Okay. So that's requirement 6. Requirement 7 and 8 are community researches. So that means going out in the community, finding someone in your community, school, or scouting who's had a significant positive impact promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion. And then doing research on that person and see who could fit that and why they chose them. What inspired that individual? What challenges did they face? And then they're going to come back and tell you what they learned about that individual. Now, we may not have a whole lot here in Lubbock, but we have a lot in the United States. But I would challenge you that there's a lot of people who've done some significant positive impact for DEI in Lubbock. They just have to find them. And then number 8 is to find, with the help of a parent or guardian, study an event that had a positive outcome on how society viewed a group of people and made them feel more welcome, such as women's suffrage, civil rights. When I read that, I always think about, I don't know, some of you may not be old enough to remember this, but when the Olympics, one of the Summer Olympics was in Sydney, Australia, right? And there was an Aboriginal woman who won one of her races. She won the track race. She was the first Aboriginal woman to ever win a medal, and a gold medal at that. And it changed their culture completely. They became so much more included in everything that they do in Australia. And it had a huge impact on that group. And I think that's a really great example of an event where a positive outcome and how society viewed a group of people. So that's a really great example that you can give. But challenge them to find someone or an event that happened that had that positive outcome. All right. All right, next slide. Requirement 9 is helping other people. 3 or more areas of your life in scouting, outside of scouting, where you can be more actively provide stronger leadership. How are you going to take the skills of what you're learning here in Scouts with this merit badge and apply it to your outside life, right? School, home, church, wherever. You want to think about helping them understand that they're going out, right? You want to make sure that they understand you're not just practicing this here. This was a hard thing for us to get across to our kids, was you're not just a scout when you're here in Scouts. You're a scout 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so you should be living those values. So we want them to start looking at, how do I take this ethical leadership for DEI that I'm learning right now, and how do I put that into practice in my community, in my church, in my home, in whatever else they're doing? And that's what helping other people is all about. How do I help them feel included and feel heard? Okay, so that's what requirement 9 is all about. All right, requirement number 10 is addressing stereotypes. So we're going to take a break for a minute because I know y'all are tired of listening to me. Remember this piece of paper that you folded for me, right? Y'all all thought, why did she make me do that, right? Yeah, I know y'all been sitting there going, she made me fold this paper, waste a piece of paper. All right, so what I want you to do is on the side that says I am, I want you to write something that you are. And in the middle, what you're going to write, but. I am a girl. That's what I'm going to write. But I am not girly. All right. Does that make sense? I am loud, I would say, but I'm not obnoxious, but I am. So I don't know how to say that. I'm a good trainer, but I'm an introvert. So I want you to think about some of the stereotypes that that you might be thinking about, that people might think about you. All right, as you're finishing that up, anybody want to share one that they thought of? Robert, I see you smiling over there.
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay,
I put
Alan.
one. I'm here. I'm difficult, but not confrontational.
Oh, Barbie said she does not agree with that statement, sir.
Try again.
You, Robert, you were smiling.
Well, I'll be honest, I'm struggling with this a little bit. I did write down, I'm funny, but I'm not confident. And I don't know that those necessarily work together, but like I said, I'm kind of struggling with this a little bit. So
Why are you struggling with it?
I don't know. I guess I'm just, I guess I need,
Try to be inclusive.
I'm trying to, I guess I need time to process. I don't know.
So you're a thinker, but you're not impulsive, maybe.
Yes. Yeah, that would be a good way to say that. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Austin.
I said I am short, but I'm not small.
Oh, nice one. Nice one. I like that one. Anyone
People
else?
make fun of you for your stature, but
They do, don't they?
I've never actually felt short unless I have to reach for something.
I stand on the bottom shelf all the time at
It
Walmart.
sounds really dumb, like when you say it out loud, but conceptually, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Mike?
got one.
Okay, Randall.
I'm a nice guy, but I'm not a pushover.
Oh, that's not true. That is
The last
so
part- the
not
last part broke up a
true.
little bit. What did you say?
He said he's a nice guy, but he's not a pushover.
See, we can't have husband-wife teams. This just isn't going to work.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
But what y'all don't know is he is a pushover. He is he is a very nice man, and he will go out of his way to help everyone he can.
No, I won't. Forget y'all.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. He will not.
He will. He will. So this is kind of a great activity to kind of get you guys thinking about stereotypes, right? Mine is what I originally had written when I did this activity with all adults was I'm loud, or I appear mean, but I am not really mean. Okay. And when I'm with my really good friends, I say I have resting bitch face, but I'm not really a resting bitch. Okay. Because that's just not appropriate to say to some people. But
this is recorded.
Yes, it is. That's all right. And Nathan's probably going, oh my God, no. But it's really talking about how stereotypes are harmful, right? It's not good for us to stereotype. And I love this one that they have up on the screen, which is a friend from scouting is on your hockey league and has parents who are from Canada. So you ask your friend why he's not better at hockey. Again, it seems like a silly stereotype, but not everybody's athletic, right? Mike's would be, I'm tall, but I don't necessarily play basketball. Right? Everybody sees Mike and they all think he's a basketball player. Did you play basketball in high school, Mike? You did? Yeah. Were you good?
It was all right. I was tall.
Okay, I played basketball in high school too. And because I am short, I was not good. I mean, I was good, but I was too short to play anything. So I quickly got out of that. But we want them to start thinking about those stereotypes that maybe have just become commonplace for all of us that we don't necessarily think about, but they're just ingrained into our society. And we want them to start looking at those and questioning those and saying, that's not accurate. I don't like that. We need to change it. Okay. So that's what requirement 10 is about, is addressing the stereotypes. All right. Requirement 11 again, is helping other people. And this really asks them to look at their current involvement and seeing how they will support others with different identities in the different aspects of their world, right? And I love this example. You're on a planning committee for an event for your scouting unit, and you're in charge of coordinating the date and the location. You meet with the planning committee and excitedly share what you have planned. One member of the committee comments that the dates fall on Yom Kippur, and another member mentions that the location does not have wheelchair access. Without their input, you would have not inadvertently excluded multiple members of your unit from participating. I think that's a great example of how making sure that we're helping other people and that we have diverse opinions in the conversation really does make our scouting world and our outside of our scouting world too better. And so that's what helping other people in requirement 11 is all about. It's about how do you help people feel heard and included on a daily basis, right? How do we help those people? And this is going to be difficult because, you know, sometimes they're going to be like, the youth are going to be like, well, everybody gets heard. Well, do they? I mean, really think about it. Do they? Is there not that youth in your unit who's maybe a little shy and doesn't say anything ever? And so you really never know if you're meeting their needs or not. Of course there is. There's always that youth in that unit. And so it's the same as their workplace, their schools, and their communities. And we want them to think that one day when you've run your course, you're 18, you're going off into the military, into college, into your work environment. You're going to be a leader. And we want you to take these skills out there and lead people well, and make sure that those people understand that you value them and that they are a part of your team and that you value their opinions. Okay. And we're teaching them that skill with this merit badge. And then I believe there's one more requirement. Is that right, Barbie? Nope, that's it. So that is the merit badge as a whole. The rest of this PowerPoint is like some DEI contacts. So this slide right here is all the diversity, equity, and inclusion leads for all of our NST 8s. Okay, so our areas got moved to NSTs. We're NST 8. Our DEI lead is David Briscoe. So if there's ever a problem that you have and you can't get a hold of myself or Mike, or maybe we have a question about some resources that another council is using, we can email David and he will help us. I have met with David. He's a very nice man. I really enjoyed talking with him. And he has some really great ideas for what the NST 8 group is going to do for DEI. So that's what that's about. If you'll go to the next slide. This are the Vimeo slides. Videos are just about the training videos, and Barbie has the other one pulled up and we'll watch it in just a second. And then the rest, I believe, is like there's a bunch of fact sheets in here. Why did we do it? I'm not going to go over that with y'all. Y'all can read all of that on your own. And so I don't want to belabor why we did it, why they did it, what their rationale and all that good stuff is. It asks why does the badge look the way it does? What does it mean? And so I'll let you read all of that when I send the PowerPoints to you. And the last few slides, if you'll keep going, Barbie. Yeah, keep going. These are for optional use, right? Okay, so these are not necessarily, they're included in here, but they're not sanctioned by the BSA, in other words. They're really great resources. Randy and I watched a couple of them. They're really well done videos. The shorts really are short. And they're just different resources that you can use as the merit badge counselor to kind of help you feel more prepared to do the merit badge. But also if you have a youth that's like, I'm struggling with this, help me understand, you can give them with their parents' permission, a link to the video and say, hey, watch this, maybe this will help you. All right. And there's like 4 pages of resources here. And they're all really great. We watched several of them. And it was really, 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 really good ones. So now I've done all of that. And here's some additional examples for exercises, which is some of them are good. I'm just going to tell you, no matter how hard we try, I'm just going to put this out there. No matter how hard we try, we're always going to fall short in our inclusion, right? Always. Most of us are just going to fall short. And here's why, because we just don't necessarily have, I don't have the same background that some of you have. So like number 4 on this list, it's very irritating to me. There's a couple of reasons why, because I'm a diabetes educator for one. For 2, I have diabetes, and we don't call ourselves diabetics. We are people with diabetes, and I eat sugar all the time. Okay. So we're always, and I think that's the thing we need to express to our youth as well, is that we're always going to fall short, that we're always going to need improvement. And that's okay, because that is just really means that we're growing. And that's what we want for our youth, is to grow on a daily basis, not just in our program, but after our program, we want them to continue to grow. So this is the merit badge as a whole. Now, here's what I'm going to say. Our recommendation, or our best practice recommendation, is that you, as a merit badge counselor, if you agree to do this, is to do this with another person who is teaching this merit badge. So I would not do this necessarily. Let's say I'm going to do a group setting. I'm not going to go in by myself. All right. I'm going to call up Austin Moore, and I'm going to say, hey, Austin, I'm teaching the Citizenship and Society merit badge. And I need you to go with me because I want you to keep me honest, right? There's some things in us inherently that we can find ourselves slipping into a judgment zone. Let me fix it. Let me change it. Let me change your mind. That's not our goal with this merit badge. Our goal is not to change anyone's mind. It is to allow them to figure out all of the DEI and how they're going to use that in their leadership. And so we highly recommend that you do it in groups of 2. We would also highly recommend that maybe you consider using someone outside of your unit. Now, am I going to know the difference if you don't? No, I'm not. But what I just really want you to think about, find a way to ensure that you are, sorry, I have a 5-year-old rat in my ring. Hey, leave it, take it, go. Thank you. Shut out, man. Oh my goodness, you're killing me, kid. Sorry about that. 5-year-old grandkid comes in when he wants. But just to make sure that you are, that you're giving your youth the best opportunity without all of your biases, without any fear that you might say something wrong, right? And so it's just kind of a checks and balances. It's what we recommend. It's not rules. It's not law. It's just what I would suggest, just so that I don't fall into my, let's just say I'm having a bad day and I just let loose on someone because I don't agree with what they're saying. That's not what the badge is about, and that's not what we want to happen. All right. So those are just our thoughts on that. Barbie, you want to show that video real quick?
Yeah, let me pull it up.
Do you guys have any questions while she's pulling that up?
Yeah, on one of the slides, it talked about, being required, and for those that are close to Eagle, right? Define close, right? I mean, that's kind of is it a bit of a gray area, or if like, well, if you're past a certain point, right? To me, it feels like if you haven't gotten Eagle by July 1, it suddenly becomes required
It
Even
is.
if you were going to turn your paperwork in 3 weeks, you now
Correct.
need to go through this. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So that's
That is
kind of,
correct.
if you are
That's-
not Eagle by July 1, then you have to do this regardless of where else you are in the process. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Got it.
And the other thing is everybody's like, well, does it change the merit badge numbers? No, it's still 21. You still have to earn 21. This just added an extra, added a Eagle required to that list.
Okay.
Nathan, did you want to say something?
No, you got it. I was just gonna tell Alan that it's very specific. The merit badge started on November 1, and it's optional until July 1.
Right.
And then you have to earn it. So right now, probably we should just start coaching those Life Scouts, unless you're darn sure that you can tell by where they are that, you know, they might want to consider it. But the BSA was very intentional about the dates.
Got it. Yeah. And that's one of the assumption I just wanted to kind of clarify.
Yeah.
Good. All right, Barbie, roll that beautiful bean footage.
Can you see this? Can you guys see the video?
Yes. Yes.
Give me a thumbs up if you can hear the sound.
Thank you for agreeing to serve as a counselor for the Citizenship and Society Merit Badge. Citizenship, community service, and leadership in society have been at the very core of our program for more than 100 years, and the Scout Oath and Scout Law have been our guiding compass. The goal of the Citizenship and Society Merit Badge is to help our Scouts learn about the diverse, unique identities, characteristics, perspectives, and experiences we each possess, and discover how to create an inclusive and welcoming culture where Scouts feel a sense of belonging to optimize their positive impact in their units and in society. The Citizenship and Society Merit Badge will be available for Scouts to begin earning in November 2021 and will become required for the rank of Eagle Scout on July 1st, 2022. Scouts holding the rank of Life may advance to Eagle using the current requirements between November 2021 and June 30th, 2022. This new merit badge is unique in that there is no pamphlet. Instead, the BSA has developed guidelines for merit badge counselors and a diversity, equity, and inclusion volunteer training video available under adult training found on My.Scouting, our volunteer learning site. The requirements will be available to counselors and Scouts on scouting.org in the Merit Badge section. Counselors need to become familiar with the requirements, complete the volunteer training to ensure they understand all concepts that will be discussed, and recognize they will not serve as the subject matter experts, but as a facilitator. They will guide the Scouts through the requirements. Some of the requirements may need parents' permission for discussion. Please use your best discretion, and when in doubt, speak with your local council representative. You may have guided Scouts on other merit badges and thus be familiar with the merit badge counseling process, including having shared your experiences with Scouts as a subject matter expert and perhaps conducted merit badge fairs or taught at summer camp. For this new merit badge, please avoid interjecting your personal opinions and instead help the Scouts formulate their own ideas through their self-guided research. Counselors are being asked to consider the following actions for this merit badge. Focus on being a good listener and guide the discussion with the Scouts. Work in a setting that allows the Scout to express their opinions and not be judged by others. Counselors and Scouts should follow the Scout Oath and Scout Law. Please remember the Boy Scouts of America's diversity, equity, and inclusion mission statement as you work towards encouraging Scouts to make a difference in their communities. That statement reads as follows: to promote a culture where every youth, volunteer, and employee feels a sense of belonging, and to build communities where every person feels respected and valued. Leading by example and encouraging each other to live by the values expressed by the Scout Oath and Scout Law. We welcome families of all backgrounds to help prepare young people to serve as successful members and leaders of our nation's increasingly diverse communities. Citizenship in Society is an Eagle Required Merit Badge beginning July 1st, 2022, and must be treated the same as all merit badge requirements. Scouts must complete all requirements as written. They cannot be changed by the council, committee, district, unit, or merit badge counselor. Counselors for this new merit badge have a unique opportunity to help Scouts as they explore what citizenship in their society means to them and how they can make a difference. Helping youth make ethical and moral choices over their lifetime and to serve as leaders in their communities and in society is the life-changing impact of the Boy Scouts of America's program. Thank you for all you do for Scouting.
So that's the orientation video that they provide. I think it does a really great job. One of the things that I thought about as I was watching it is if you're going to do this merit badge as a group, I'm in a group setting, be sure you know who the youth is going to talk to, the fellow youth. Make sure you know the different identities so that you can make sure all of your parents are aware of what you're going to be talking about. Because if you have, and let's just take just a generic one, if you have a devout Christian, they may not be comfortable with their child being in a discussion where they're going to talk to an atheist, right? I talked to an atheist and this is what they told me and this is what makes them special. A parent may have a problem with that. So make sure you know ahead of time what the different identities are that are going to be discussed and that your parents are comfortable with that. Because that was one of the things that was brought up in one of our trainings is that you want to make sure that the parents are all comfortable with this because we're not trying to push something off on people. We're just trying to help our youth understand that every person is valuable. They should be heard, they should feel heard, and they should feel valued. And that's what we're trying to get them to understand through this merit badge, all right? Okay, so that's a lot of information and a lot of technical difficulties in the hour and a half that we've been together. What questions do you have for me or any comments, thoughts, anything like that?
Does we go through the requirements there? What is the anticipated? I mean, I know it's pretty open-ended, right? It can take as long as little time as possible, but is there like an estimate? It should take.
They recommend a month
to complete 3 months to 1 month.
A month. Yeah, they said, but you can take as long as you want. But in general, they say it should take about a month for the youth to be able to find their research and find their people and interview them and come back and have that conversation.
Will anyone outside the training merit badges like this group be allowed to teach this? So let's say there's someone in a unit that doesn't have anyone that was part of this training. Do they need to then come and find one of us then? I'm assuming yes.
Ideally, yes.
Okay.
There's only 1 or 2 units that are not represented here. Everybody else is pretty much, I tried to represent almost everybody here. In the grand scheme of things, Alan, we're not going to be able to continue this. If somebody wants to teach this merit badge, it's just like every other merit badge, right? But we wanted to start it off on the right foot, which is having a core group of people who could go back to their units and start it and find a replacement, find good merit badge counselors, the people who fit this well and help them understand the purpose and help them understand the process so that we can duplicate this. Because I don't know that we're going to be able to do this training for every year for everybody that wants to do this merit badge. I just don't know that that's feasible. I don't know yet. So that was my thought, is that I'm going to start with a core group of really great trainers and merit badge counselors, and task them with finding, good people to help them in their units. Okay, so then my next question is there anybody who is not okay with being a merit badge counselor for this merit badge I'm just going to put it out there, for the council? If you're not comfortable with that, will you email me and say, hey, I only want to do this for my unit? Okay. And I'm okay with that, but I would like for us to have as many people as we can open that up to the council, because there are some units not represented here. The outlying units will need help with this as well, as it becomes Eagle required. I want us to be able to help everybody that we need to help. Okay. So if you're not comfortable with that, just shoot me an email and let me know and say, I don't like that. I don't want to be it. I just want to do my unit. And we'll go from there. All right. Nathan, do you have anything for us before we leave?
Please. Yes. I would just like to publicly thank Christy for her efforts to bring this together, and she's provided support to me and the board as we transition to our NST structure, and this is certainly part of that transition. I also want to just welcome Mike O to the group and thank him for agreeing to provide leadership at the council level. And this is a new vice president position for us in our council leadership structure, and that aligns us, as Christy said, with the service territory structure. And the only other thing I would say is that just please understand that this is bigger than all of us, and in some ways, scouting might be a little bit late to the table, but I know all of you, I think almost all of you on this call, and I believe that you do all of these things anyway. But the thing that I try and remember is that we have to be more intentional about it, because we all have a filter and a background, and that we bring to the situation. And while it sometimes seems obvious, it's not. And we are being asked through our board efforts and what we do with the Lubbock United Way. We receive funding from the United Way to support our programs annually, and we have to go through a review process, and it's a pretty complicated process, and we're in the middle of that for 2022. And this is, when I say it's bigger than we are, the Lubbock United Way is very committed to DEI and how all of us as the 23 partner agencies are working through it in our own organization. So in addition to now offering the merit badge, we want to do the right thing at all levels of our program, and so I know that Mike will be able to help us with that and just provide a defined position, but all of you can play a role in this, and I appreciate your efforts in that. And for those of you that were at the annual meeting the other night, you heard that Christy reported in our council matrix. We are doing pretty well for our size market in terms of our ethnic diversity, but we certainly want to offer scouting to as many folks as we can. So I appreciate all of you taking the time tonight, and we'll keep doing what we're doing.
All right. So last thing is I will be sending all your names to Sammy. So the next time you're in the office, if you will pick up an adult application and fill that out for your merit badge counselor for this merit badge, then we'll get you suited up and we will send out the list across the council and we'll start doing this merit badge for real. So any questions? All right, guys, thank you so much for being flexible with us tonight. I know it's cold and icy and I just didn't want to get anybody out and cause any accidents. So I appreciate you being willing to go on Zoom with me and putting up with my really interesting internet tonight. I appreciate everything you guys do for scouting. Without you guys, I, as your council commissioner, cannot be successful. So I appreciate each and every one of you. And I hope you have a great evening. So stay safe, stay warm, and have a good evening. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.